I didn't mean to turn myself into a TikTok e-boy, but it's just something that happened. I found this shirt the other day because I was cleaning my closet. Nar, please stop ripping my shit. I was cleaning my closet and I found this shirt and I was like, oh my god, I literally have to wear this in a video, like ASAP. But I was cold because it's like 70 degrees here in Arizona, so I had to put on a long sleeve shirt underneath and I just look like a fuckboy. But hey y'all, I decided to keep my word this time and I'm back with more of your guys' paranormal stories. I went through my Reddit for the first time in a very long time. And I need to start reading those again because I have a lot to catch up on. And I found, a fuck ton of paranormal stories because I haven't been on there in months. Or I feel like it's been months. Has it been months? I've read Let's Not Meet stories more often than I've read paranormal ones recently, but I don't even think I've read Let's Not Meet off of the subreddit. So it's just that I have a lot. And so I have a couple stories that I'm gonna share with you. And I'm just gonna go back to being completely paranoid all the time about ghosts and demons and whatever the fuck else could possibly be in these stories. Recently, whenever I'm trying to go to bed, I keep thinking that I hear footsteps and I keep thinking that I see like shadows in my door, and I think it's just my internal paranoia. Like I don't actually think I'm seeing anything, but it freaks me the fuck out. And if I stop whatever I'm doing and I'm just quiet and I just focus and try to listen for something, I will hear it. So if I sit there and I'm listening for footsteps, I will hear footsteps, no matter if they're there or not. And so my brain is just like, there is someone in my kitchen and I'm gonna die. And so this is probably not the best idea, but we're gonna do it anyways because I told you I would. Nara's literally right here. And he's not gonna leave. Okay, so the first story that I saw, this one really caught my fucking attention. It says, I played hide and seek with a dead girl, and now she won't leave me alone. This sounds like a No Sleep story. Like the title just reminds me of something that I would find on No Sleep. My name is Vita. I'm currently 18 years old. I live with my parents in a small town in Southern California. I was 8 years old when I first moved here with my family. I didn't have much friends upon arriving. In fact, I didn't have friends in my previous hometown either. Nar, please, I am begging you. Look at this fucking, look at him. Look at him. He's figured out how to get on that counter. Like that's all he's wanted because that's where I eat because it's like the only place he can't get to. But he realized if he climbed on the back of this chair and he jumped, that he could fucking make it. And now he does it all the time. And so now I have nowhere to eat. Now I have no safe places. This was mainly because I wasn't too fond of approaching strangers. You were more of an observer, my mom told me, trying to make me feel better about my inability to be a basic functioning human. Thankfully, I have friends now, but as I stated before, I didn't have any friends when I was younger. This led me to be friends with people who didn't actually exist, imaginary friends. Imaginary friends are something pretty much every child goes through. Because of this, my mom wasn't too concerned that I was talking to air while playing with my toys, until it became an exclusive nighttime only thing. I would only seem to talk to her in the nighttime, usually after my parents tucked me into bed. I would get up after they tucked me in and sneak into the playroom. And despite my efforts of sneaking in, I was making a hell of a lot of noise playing with my toys, laughing and talking very loudly to God knows who. When this first happened, my mother was, of course, annoyed that I woke her up and that I disobeyed her. She was more so confused as to why I was acting the way I was, i.e. getting up past my bedtime, being loud, causing a mess, and overall disobeying every rule in the house. My mom later on told me that she first knew something wasn't right after I was being reckless, stating how this was all out of my quiet, reserved character. I would mention my imaginary friend quite frequently, and I would talk about her as if she was a real person. Her name, her parents' name, her pet's name, her friend's name, and even her appearance. My family were never believers of the paranormal, and because of this, they dismissed everything as a coincidence. Because of this, I started talking to her less and less. I'm assuming she didn't like that because of a few select incidents. A specific incident I remember was when I was playing hide and seek. This harmless game sparked a decade of hauntings. I don't want to read this. What you're about to read is 100% true. My mother has reminded me about some details in the story, so a lot of these I don't personally remember, but my mom does. And why would my mom lie about something she doesn't even believe in? Anyways, here it goes. It was my 9th birthday. Families and neighbors joined, all adults because, again, I had no friends my age. This is important to note. My mother reminded me it was almost time to open presents, to which I wasn't happy about. I was never a big birthday person. The whole party only happened because my dad wanted to do something special. He was almost never home. He worked at 4 in the morning all the way until 10 at night, the hours in which I were asleep. He built plane engines in a city a couple hours away, meaning he would have to wake up extremely early to beat the California traffic. If you know, you know. Oh, trust me, I think we all fucking know. When I found out he didn't work the day of my party, I was stoked. I finally got to spend a day with him. This is why I didn't mind having the party, because I got to spend time with him. Unfortunately, halfway through the day, my dad got called into work. I was devastated, and I didn't care about my party anymore, so I walked away. I went upstairs in my room and I cried. This went on for a couple minutes when I heard movement coming from under my bed. I stopped sniffling and peeked from under my covers. I briefly saw a black shadow emerge and quickly get out from under my bed. I was confused. I didn't know what it was, so I followed it. Ah! It went inside my bathroom. I, being curious, walked inside my bathroom and turned on the lights. I immediately felt sick and nauseous, not wanting to be in there any longer. I quickly left the bathroom and I entered my room. I was just about to leave my room when I saw her. My imaginary friend was sitting on my bed, staring at me. I vividly remember her smile, a huge smile that spread across her face ear to ear. She was wearing a dress that looked white but seemed dirty, so it was now an ugly beige. Her shoes looked like she got buried alive. It was filthy. I never realized this before. She always looked so clean. But I froze when I saw her. I felt fear. I've never felt that way towards her. I was always calm and comforted around her. But this time, I felt like I needed to throw up. I blinked profusely about 7 times. Each she got closer and closer. How did I choose the worst fucking story in the entire world to start on? Blinking and this bitch is like, fuck, dude, this is why I don't read these anymore. This is why, they freak me out. I blinked profusely about 7 times. Each time she got closer and closer. I screamed and ran right past her. That's when I heard a gentle voice saying, "You're the hider." It was a childish voice, very high-pitched, so I assumed it was her. Oh my god, oh my god. For some reason, I listened. I hid and waited. I knew I was waiting for something, waiting for her to peek her pale face and black sunken eyes around the corner, waiting for her big smile to appear. She walked towards me. I am traumatized from this story, and it didn't happen to me. That's exactly what happened. She found me. Game over, I thought. Although I was young, I wasn't all that dumb. I heard my older cousins talk about ghosts before, attempting to scare me. I knew that I couldn't let her assert dominance over me. I tried my best to put on a brave face. I said in a loud voice, almost screaming, "I won." My voice must have been loud, because as soon as I said that, I heard my mom's voice from downstairs. "Vita, it's time to open gifts." I jumped from my spot, still eyeing the ghost child, like, like she's just there, she's just fucking there. I ran downstairs and heard somebody right behind me. That only made me run faster. I ran downstairs in a panic, nearly sweating. My mother asked me what was wrong, to which I was crying, saying, "There's a little girl who wants to play hide and seek." At first my mom looked confused, stating, "What little girl? Nobody has a little girl here. The only little girl here is you." That's when my instincts were right. That wasn't a person that I was just with. That was one of the last times I physically saw her. Nowadays, I only experience little things. Whispers, knocking when no one's there, opening and closing doors and cabinets, flushing the toilet and using the faucets, all those basic haunts. However, one that still bugs me is when I occasionally see her in my bedroom window, despite me being on the 2nd floor. I have vivid dreams of my 9th birthday party. Each dream is a different outcome. I still hear the word hide and seek in my dreams, and I'm starting to hear it in broad daylight. I complain to my mom till this day. I was hoping that me being a grown-ass teenager complaining about a little devil roaming around would make her realize that something is actually wrong, but she doesn't believe me. Nothing I say will convince her. Like I said, my family does not believe in the paranormal. Because of my family telling me nothing is happening, I just feel like I'm going insane. I feel like I'm imagining all of this. No matter how realistic she looks and her touch feels so damn surreal at 3 in the morning. When I say that I feel absolutely insane whenever I tell people like my Ouija board videos are true, or every story that I've ever told on my channel is true about the paranormal, I feel nuts. Trying to explain the things that have happened to you to people who don't believe in it, you just feel so dumb, but you know that you've experienced it, like you know, and it's like so vivid and you can remember it so perfectly and you know it happened, but you do feel like you're crazy because you feel like they don't believe you and you're just like talking out of your ass. But as somebody who's had a lot of dumb shit happen, I know, because I hate telling people about that stuff. I hate telling them. I know I'm not crazy, but my family's making me think I am. I pray to God I don't see her tonight. Each day she seems angrier that I abandoned her and I don't pay much attention to her. I'm trying to ignore her, but she keeps popping up. I'm too scared to look up my house history to see if something actually did happen here. I don't want to look up this dead girl. What if it gives her more power? Ghost girl who won't let go of that hide and seek game, leave me alone. Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. Can we stop there? Can we just end the video now, please? Nar, will you come cuddle with me? I'm scared. He's like, fuck you, pussy. Okay, this one says, my bizarre paranormal experience at Disneyland. I went to Disneyland with my boyfriend last week. Okay, so this was really fucking recent. I'm used to all of them being like when I was a child or like back in the day. Not last week. We were walking in the Fantasyland area, passing by the ride It's a Small World, and I immediately remember the time I saw someone or something Paranormal on that ride. That's the worst ride. Of course, It's a Small World is fucking haunted. Of course, that's the one ride that's haunted. Actually, the whole park is probably haunted. Let's be real. Sorry in advance if the story is a bit confusing. It happened a while ago, and I only remember, didn't you say it happened last week? I only remember bits and pieces of it, along with some things my sister reminded me about. Anyways, here we go. Oh! She went to Disneyland last week, and this reminded her of a story that happened a long time ago. I gotcha. It was a summer night in 2017. I still had my annual pass, and I would go with my family pretty much every night, not wanting our lovely expensive plastic card to go to waste. It was crowded, as per usual, and I was determined to get on one last ride before the park closed. I was with my mom and my sister, and my mom suggested we go on It's a Small World. It was only a 45-minute wait, which is pretty damn good for a Disneyland ride. However, I wasn't too fond of that ride, mainly because I hated the dolls and animatronics on it. Not to mention it's a long-ass ride, and it's pretty boring too. I only go on it if the wait's like 5 minutes, and I'm going with somebody who's never been on it before. Anyone who's been on it before doesn't want to go on it again. But seeing as every other line was a 2-hour-long wait, my sister and I agreed. I was even planning on putting in headphones the whole ride because I couldn't stand the music. Point is, I hated that ride, and the experience I had on it this one particular night just made me hate it even more. We entered the line and waited. When it was finally our turn to go into the boats, I immediately felt nervous, which was strange because although I did hate the ride, I've never felt nervous about it before. I didn't want to tell anyone. It was just a tiny stomachache and I didn't want to concern my mom and ruin the fun. We went into the boats and the ride began. At first I didn't notice him. Hell, I didn't notice anyone. I was too busy picking a song and getting ready to distract myself. I only noticed him when I felt someone staring at me. I assumed it was because I was on my phone, so I quickly picked a song and I put it away, but I still felt like he was staring. I finally looked up and saw his face. He was a younger boy, maybe around the age of 7. He was wearing a maroon short-sleeved shirt, and that's all I could see of him. The rest of his body was covered by the back of the seats. I shit you not, he continued to stare at me for at least 45 more seconds. I mentioned it to my mom and she dismissed it, saying how he was probably staring at all the animatronics, but he wasn't. He was staring at me and only me. Usually when people stare, I don't say anything. I just look away and pretend I didn't see them, mainly because I hate confrontation, especially with strangers. My sister, on the other hand, is the exact opposite. She'll question it out loud and proud no matter who it is. Me being the person I am, I get embarrassed every time she does it. My sister noticed and looked at the boy. She did a little hand gesture, gesturing, "What do you want?" The boy then turned back around in the seat and sat forward. My sister looked back at me and shrugged, sort of feeling bad that she may have come off as rude to the little boy. After a couple minutes, we were entering a new scene of the ride when I felt the boy staring at me again. This time he looked angry. Really angry. It wasn't like a regular pouty face a kid gives you when you tell them no after they ask for candy. It was like seeing an adult get angry. I'm not sure how to describe it, but it was disturbing. I nudged my sister and I nodded my head in the direction of the kid, jokingly saying, "Look, he made him angry." We both let out a soft laugh, but that only made him angrier. This reminds me of like the little boy who literally tried to kill me and my friends while we were babysitting him. He looked sinister. He literally looked like he wanted to attack us. If this was anyone much older, I would have felt scared, but seeing as it was a kid, I thought it was humorous. But this is where shit hits the fan. About 10 seconds later, I felt a chill go down my spine. At first, I didn't think much of it, until it progressively got 10 degrees cooler. Then I heard it. Soft, unintelligible chants in whispers that I can only describe as something you would hear in a ritual. I looked to my sister to see if she could hear it, but she seemed more focused on the fact that there was a dark figure peeking out behind one of the dolls. I'm done. I'm sticking to real people stories for the rest of my life. Can you imagine, it's a small world, and then you see a fucking demon pop out, dude? Of course it's that stupid ride. I don't even know where my phone went. I really threw that bitch, huh? She was more focused on the fact that there was a dark figure peeking out behind one of the dolls, staring at us. I can only describe the figure as another one of him, the boy. 2 of them, one in the boat and one behind the doll. We both frantically loud whispered to our mom if she could see what we were seeing, but she didn't seem to know what we were talking about. She thought we were going crazy. I was convincing myself that this was all a part of the ride, until I realized nobody was reacting. It seemed as if my sister and I were the only ones who were experiencing this. We then saw the boy smiling at us, except he wasn't actually smiling at us. He was smiling at something behind us. Problem is, we were in the back row. I'm not gonna lie, you just literally made me shit my fucking pants. What is wrong with you? Oh my god! I was like, is behind me. The demons behind, the little boys behind me. There were no more people behind us, only the water and the props. If it was only me experiencing this, I would dismiss it as me being paranoid or going crazy. But my sister experienced it too, so I knew for a fact that this was all real. The ride was coming to a close. My sister and I looked at the boy one last time. He was still smiling as we slowly turned around and faced the front, slouching down in his seat to the point where we could no longer see him. Nobody else seemed to notice the boy. He was sitting a couple rows in front of us, which is why I was so confused as to why nobody else noticed him, and why the people sitting next to him weren't telling him to face forward. It wasn't until I got off the ride when I realized there was no little boy in the entirety of our boat. There was no way I could have missed him. We were scanning everyone who got off while we were getting off. It was only elderly people and a few young adults. My sister and I were the only ones who seemed to be under the age of 20. We left the park soon after that, and I had no plans to return to that ride. As soon as we left the park and went into the car, it really hit me how strange the whole experience was. I researched on my phone if there were any deaths in that ride, and if there was, maybe that was the person I saw, but I couldn't find anything. I'm not sure if what we saw was even real. We questioned our sanity, thinking we were hallucinating everything at the time. I'm not sure what to think of it, and I don't like thinking about it. I wish I took a picture or a video, but I didn't because I thought it was another kid with staring problems, but it was obviously something much more than that. The set of eyes staring at us from behind the doll, the chance, and his smile. That damn smile that I think about every once in a while. Dude, I don't know, I'm never going to Disneyland ever again. Whenever I read the Let's Not Meet stories, I always think, like, okay, these are way worse than the paranormal ones because they're like real people, like these people really exist. But with paranormal, like, it's just like, how do you deal with it? Because it's, what the fuck? At least with real people, you're like, yeah, they exist, but like, hopefully something will happen, they'll go to jail. But like, you can't put a ghost in jail. You can't put a little weird demon 7-year-old boy in jail. Okay, this is the last one I'm gonna read. It says, I got tricked by a demon / I used a Ouija board and might have caused a car crash. I wish I just would have picked the ones that are like, my paranormal story, that are like, I heard my door shut in the middle of the night. I should have just picked a fuck ton of those. Hi, my name is CJ, and I wanted to tell y'all a paranormal story. I only really had 3 major events, but I'm only gonna tell you 2 right now. The other one will take longer to write, and I don't want to leave any parts out of that one. So anyways, I think I got tricked by a demon or a ghost. This still haunts me to this day. I have nightmares about it at least once a month, sometimes more. When I was 9 or 8, I remember distinctly waking up and all the lights in my house being on. This was strange because it was night and there was no noise. I felt so sick and I began to walk to the toilet. I thought I would vomit. I then called out for my mom and I heard her call my name downstairs. As I approached the stairs, every hair on the back of my neck stood up. Every step I got goosebumps. It was getting colder as I reached the bottom. I heard my mom tell me to go into the kitchen and I walked in. I went to the back door and opened it, and outside it was black and silent. I heard my mom say, come along, or some shit like that. And as my bare feet touched the cold pavement, I feel 2 arms grab my shoulders as my brother asks me why I'm outside and it's 3 a.m. I look at him and I turn back to the house. No lights in the house were on. And my brother was coming home from a night out. He took me back inside and locked the door. I told him mom was calling me and that she told me to go outside. He then told me that mom was asleep and hadn't been up all night. He didn't believe me and told me not to go outside at that time again. I woke up the next morning feeling worse than I did that night. I don't know what happened to me. Anyone else got any suggestions? No. Okay, that was the first one. And their second story is me and my friend played a Ouija board. Never again. Earlier this year, around April, me and my friend decided to play with a Ouija board. We made it from scratch because that makes the connection more personal or something. We decided to play it at the top of this steep hill across from a graveyard. When we were playing the Ouija board, I could have sworn my friend was the one moving it, but she said that she wasn't, which kind of made my stomach turn. We decided to stop playing and asked the board if we could go. It said no. I still thought my friend was messing with me, but then something happened. We asked to leave again and it said no again. So I threw it over a hedge and began to walk down the hill with my friend. You just fucking hated your Ouija board. I wanted to run down the hill because it was late in the graveyard and the whole situation was giving me the creeps. But something in me told me not to go. As we were walking and walking, we smelled gas, and we looked towards the bottom of the hill. 2 cars had crashed into each other, and it was a whole thing, like apparently people got hurt. I didn't link this back to the Ouija board until that night. I had a nightmare where I was back at the graveyard, and we played the game like we did that day. But instead of walking, we ran, and in the end of my dream, my friend got hit by the car that crashed. This could have been something. I don't know. Oh my god, and somebody commented and said maybe the demon or ghost on the other side knew what was going to happen, so it wanted to occupy you 2 longer to avoid what would have happened, and you saw it as it was originally going to play out in your dream. That's terrifying to think about. Like the ghost is like, no, you're not allowed to leave yet because you're gonna get hit by a car. So you were gonna talk to me for like a couple more seconds and then you yeeted it over the hedge anyways, and they were just trying to save your life. Ouija board stories just scare me in general, and I'm always like, who the fuck is dumb enough to use a Ouija board? And then I remember I did in my own home a lot. Okay. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you guys have any other stories that you want to share with me, they can be paranormal or they can just be like weird, creepy stories. Like I don't really have a type, you know? You can tell me anything. Creepy stories, let's not meet stories, paranormal, like I don't give a shit. I will have the Reddit link down below. I have my own subreddit so that you guys can share your stories, and so even though I might not be able to get to all of them, at least you guys can read each other's, you know? I forget how traumatizing some of these stories are until I have to revisit that category. Ghosts and demons and weird little boys and weird little kids and hide and seek and what the fuck in Disneyland, like I don't understand. But again, I hope you guys enjoyed. I'm gonna go find my cat because I have no idea where he went, and he was really hyper, which means he's probably getting into trouble. But I will see you guys in the next one. Bye! Oh my god, just kidding. He went into his little carrier, so I bought him like a little, am I pointing at it? I can't see. Oh, it's covered by this thing. Okay. Well, he has like a little cat carrier. I took him to the vet in it, and he's just like laying inside of it. He kind of likes it. He's so fucking cute. All right, see ya.